Hi everyone, welcome back. I am finally back in my kitchen after being gone on vacation, and now it's time to get some freezer meals into the freezer. We've got a bit of a hectic schedule. There's been some injuries in the house, nothing too serious, but it's taken one person out, and so I want to be able to have some meals in the freezer that I can pull out and just pop in the oven, so that way I don't have to really give a whole lot of thought to dinner. It just makes it so much easier. Now, one of these dishes for sure you have seen in a past video, but it is a family favorite, so we're going to go ahead and make it. I've got 4 chicken dishes in this video that I'm going to put together and show you how quick and easy it is just to prep these ahead of time, throw them in the freezer, and pull them out. So let's get cooking. Okay, so for the first one, I'm going to be making company chicken, but before I do, I need to make some more homemade onion soup mix. And so I have a recipe that I found online. I will make sure to link it below so you guys can check it out. I always like to make sure I can give credit to those that actually created the recipe. And so what I'm going to do is I like to just mix it all up, shake it up, and have it in this jar. And that way I can grab it as needed for onion soup mix. The reason I do this is to keep onion soup mix gluten-free. A lot of them actually have gluten in them, and with our daughter, she cannot have them, so I just like to make it myself, and it's really quite simple. You're just going to put 7 tablespoons of a beef broth base. I like to use I'm going to drop it everywhere. This brand right here, I find at Walmart. This works great. I think I have just enough for 7 in here. Yeah, super close. Okay, that will work, and that actually is great. It gets 1 jar out of my pantry. All right, so it's going to be 7 of those, and then it's going to be a 1/3 cup of onion flakes. So let me grab that. All right, so I'm just going to, I think this one, here we go, it is open. Measure right over. Okay. And then I'm also going to be adding in a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. A 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, and this is just regular paprika, not smoked. And then I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then it's just a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And that is it. That's all I have to do to make homemade onion soup mix, which is so super easy. So I'm going to give this a quick shake just to mix it all up. And then with this, it's 5 tablespoons equals 1 package of onion soup mix that you buy at the store. So we are all set. And it really is just that super easy to put together. So let me grab the right chicken. I already had taken the chicken and sliced it or chopped it or whatever I was doing with it ahead of time, just to save you guys from watching me do that. There's really no need. So okay, so again, I've made this before, but again, it's a family favorite. I've been making it for many years, and so I just like to keep doing it because, again, quick, simple, it freezes beautifully, and I don't have to worry about it. I've done it before. And the nice thing about these containers, and I will make sure to link those below, from Amazon, is these are freezer oven safe. They can go straight from your freezer into your oven right away. You don't have to pull them out, let them come to room temperature or thaw it. So this will cook beautifully straight from the freezer. And this is going to cook at I will make sure I double check the recipe and put it down below, but I want to say it's 400 degrees and it's going to cook for about an hour and a half because it's frozen. Now you'll check it and see. The original recipe was always chicken breast on the bone, and I don't buy that. I just buy the skinless, boneless chicken breast. And so I want to say for these size, it's going to be, again, from a frozen state, about an hour and a half at 400 degrees. If that's wrong and I've got my temperatures wrong, then I will make sure to put that below. So, all right, what we're going to start with is creamy French dressing. You can use Catalina dressing. Either one works just the same, in my opinion. It's going to just be half of this bottle. I just eyeball it. I don't measure it. This is just 16 ounces, so 8 ounces of dressing. So again, I just eyeball. I won't be eyeballing this part just because we want the full package as if you bought it. So it's going to be 5 tablespoons. Okay. And a lot of times what I like to do is add just about a 1/3 cup of water to this as well. The original recipe, and I'm talking like years ago, had it where you would put apricot jam on top of the chicken after you made the sauce. I don't do that because, one, I never felt like it was really necessary, but then just as I've gotten older over the years and making this again for many, many, many years, I just omitted it because I really didn't feel like it was necessary. And so what I do, since that doesn't melt down and kind of add to the juice, I just replace it with water. So I'm just put 1/3 cup of water in here and just mix, and that's it. And all I do is just pour it over the chicken. And now that's the beef. Hold on, let me scrape this out real quick. Okay, there was just a chunk of the beef that didn't break up, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that, and the rest should be just fine. And just cover it like this, and that is it. Now, if you get one of these containers and you want to put this in the oven, you don't put the lid. This is plastic. It does have a great seal on it that comes off. If you want to wash it, you can, or like get underneath the seal at all. But just know that you can't put this lid into the oven. That part is not oven safe. But then that's it. Super easy, and into the oven it goes. And that's one dinner plus lunches and possibly another dinner. It just depends on how much everyone eats, or if they don't have any for lunch, then we just do it for 2 nights. So you could say 2 dinners right there. And we are a family of 4, and so because of that, I can stretch 2 chicken breasts if I need to, but usually I like to do 3 to 4 just so we have some leftovers. So for the next one, I decided to just chunk up my chicken. And for this one, I'm going to make honey mustard. Now, I do have a little bit of honey in here already. I had a container. I had a couple of containers that last little bit of honey has kind of hardened, which you don't throw it away. You can just melt it to get it out. I'm going to try to see how much I can get out of this one. I think we're going to have plenty by the time I get this out to just make a honey mustard. And this honey mustard chicken can easily go with rice, potatoes. It's just really kind of whatever you want to put it with. Some fresh vegetables, however you want to do it. You could cook this and you could put it into wraps and make honey mustard chicken wraps. It's really up to you what you want to do. And so you can see I probably have not quite a half a cup of honey in here. You can just eyeball this. This doesn't have to be actual measurements. Just put some honey, some mustard, into it. I like to have maybe a 1/3 cup of honey, a 1/4 cup of mustard, or vice, just kind of just do it how you like. If you like your honey mustard a little bit more on the sweet side, then add more honey. If you like a bit more tart, then add a little bit more mustard. So what I'm also going to do to it is add in some garlic. Just going to sprinkle in maybe half a teaspoon. When I make my honey mustard for dipping, I add mayonnaise. I don't do a dark honey mustard like this. And so I add salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, paprika. I'm going to add all those seasonings minus the mayonnaise to this honey mustard to give it some additional flavor. What I don't want to do is obviously freeze mayonnaise and cook in that, so I'm going to leave that one out. But I usually, when I make my honey mustard, I just eyeball things. So just sprinkle a little bit, and I do it by taste. That probably doesn't help anybody, but I just know what I'm looking for when I do it by taste. And so it's just, I really need to come up with a recipe. I've been asked several times by family and friends, and I have yet to do that, and so I need to, but I guess it's just because I know exactly what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this and then taste it to see if the flavors are right, and then I'm actually going to add a touch of avocado oil to help this spread a little bit more onto the chicken. Let me go grab a spoon. That is actually really good, just like it is, but like I said, I want to be able, you can see it's not a ton, so I want to be able to stretch this a little bit more. So I'm going to add in some avocado oil, maybe about a quarter to a third of a cup. Again, keep in mind, I'm just eyeballing this. There we go. I do want to taste it one more time. I may add just a touch more oil. Let's see. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let me add just a touch. I would say this will probably wind up being a total of a third of a cup of avocado oil to it. You can use olive oil if you want. I like avocado because it's neutral in its taste. And so, and there you go. It's just a nice little thick honey mustard marinade and sauce to go over. Slide this down a little bit. Get all of it that I can off the bottom. Let me get a spatula real quick. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm just going to take this and mix it together. And again, you can do this rice, potatoes, you can do it as wraps. You could just cook this and then put it on top of a salad if you want, or just serve it alongside veggies. And again, I'm going to cook this at 375, and the timing will vary. If I put it in frozen, I'll probably cook it for about an hour. If I put it in thawed, like I can pull this out in the morning, throw it in the refrigerator, and let the chicken thaw in the fridge, and then pop it in the oven at 375, it'll probably cook for only about 35 minutes. Every oven is different, so you just have to know your oven and just watch and see how it's doing, and obviously making sure that all of your chicken is cooked all the way through. The other option is, if you don't want to cook this in the oven, you can throw this in the crock pot. You can just make that decision based on what you're doing. You could also just thaw this and pan fry it. That will get it a touch crispier than baking in the oven will. But it's really more just out of convenience that I want them in these containers. If you're just going to pop it into a pan and cook it on the stove, then I would say you can put these in bags. But I like these containers for easy grab and go to throw into the oven, because there's just some nights you just don't want to cook. You just plain and simple. You just don't want to cook. Okay, so the next one, again, same thing. Actually, I think let's switch this one. That seemed to have a little bit more chicken in it. So this one is going to be a jerk chicken. And so with this, I've just got some jerk seasoning. You can do the liquid, kind of like a sauce marinade for jerk if you want. I'm just going to use the spice mix that I have. You can pick out your favorite one. I just try different brands. I used to like the McCormick's. It was a bit on the sweeter side to offset some of that heat, and I haven't been able to find it for quite a while. So I would say that's probably about 2 tablespoons of seasoning. And again, it's up to you how much you want to add, because jerk seasoning obviously can be spicy. And so I try not to make it too spicy for our daughter. And I'm just going to cover that with some avocado oil. And then let me get my spatula. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and get all of this chicken tossed together. And just make sure, I like to add a little bit of salt to it too to help enhance the flavor. Sometimes I'll add brown sugar. It's been a while since I've had this jerk seasoning. Instead of adding the brown sugar, I may add in, you know what, I would normally add in a touch of like even maple syrup, but the reason why I'm not going to is I actually have the pineapple that I canned. So the sweetness I'm going to add is actually going to come from the pineapple juice that is in here. So actually, you know what? Yeah, I think they're fine. Okay. I'm just going to add a touch of the pineapple juice to give it some sweetness. It's going to seem like a lot of liquid, but it will just infuse it with a little bit of sweetness, and again, that offsets that heat from the jerk. You can also add in more seasoning after you've cooked it and toss it together to make sure you have enough. All right, so now what I'm going to do, let me grab a clean spoon, is I am going to take this pineapple and I'm going to add it to my dish, and then I'm going to freeze this. And again, same thing, 375 for anywhere from 35 minutes up to an hour, maybe an hour 15, depending on how your oven runs and whether or not your chicken is frozen or thawed. And so this is not a ton of pineapple. This is just enough to add a few. We can always open another jar if we want to, but cooking in the pineapple will give it a nice little flavor. And then we will serve this definitely over rice, because that's our favorite way to eat the jerk chicken. And then this one is done. And what that does is it, yes, I did make more, but this is shelf stable, so it lasts a long time. But what I also did was able to empty one jar that was in my refrigerator with the pineapple. And so this again will give us at least one dinner, if not lunches, or at least give a few of us 2 dinners, again, depending on how much everyone eats when it's time for dinner. So this batch is a little bit smaller, so I will likely go ahead and add this onto rice or potatoes. And let me show you what I'm going to use. I found this sofrito better than bouillon in my Walmart and Publix, and so I bought it. I have a chipotle one, but I thought I'd use this one first to test it out and see. And I think what I'm going to do, instead of dirtying up another bowl, what I want to do is I want to kind of make a marinated, this is sort of already paste-like as is because it's the bouillon. So I'm going to put a couple on here like this. Really want to infuse that flavor into the chicken. But then I'm also going to take my avocado oil, and I'm just going to do this in the container so I don't have to mess up another bowl. And then let me take this, and I'm just going to mix this together. And for this, I can do a side rice dish with veggies in it, potatoes and veggies, and so that will help bulk up. This is not a lot of chicken. We will probably just eat this in one meal, but we can, when you need to stretch the protein that you have, you know, adding it, making this not the star of the show. So if I do rice bowls, is probably what I'll do that actually would make this stretch even further, is doing a rice bowl, adding in some sauteed onions, peppers, maybe even some sauteed tomatoes, will allow this to stretch a lot further than what's needed. And what I can do too is also take some of the better than bouillon, add the water, make a sauce out of it on the stove, and then pour, kind of top the rice bowls with that. So this does smell absolutely amazing. I think these are going to be wonderful. And again, it's just a way to utilize what I already have in my kitchen. I didn't have to buy anything special to make this. And then again, like I said, this will definitely only be one meal. There might be just enough protein left over for somebody to have lunch, but we will see what happens when we get to that point. But there you go, super simple. I'm just going to put the lid on this one, and you do have to line it up just right because of this, the rubber seam that's underneath it. So I will tell you, you will definitely want to be careful with these containers if you buy them. They can get a little slippery when they're in the freezer. We learned this the hard way. My daughter was pulling something out. It was so unintentional, and it pulled out shattered. Now these are, I don't want to say shatterproof, but they don't explode everywhere. So we were able to find all the pieces of glass, but it still went down. So I will probably layer some old towels or something in between, like just little like washcloths or paper towels, so it doesn't make it so slippery on the bottom. So just wanted to give you guys that little tip. But that's it. I mean, that's super simple. I've got 4 meals. I've got the sofrito chicken, which will be rice bowls with sauteed onions, peppers, tomatoes, and then I will make a sauce to kind of drizzle over. And then I've got the jerk chicken with pineapple. Again, this will be served with rice because that's how we prefer to eat our jerk chicken, is with rice. And then I've got the honey mustard chicken, and I will likely do these with the little baby potatoes just because those are some of our favorites. And then of course I did the company chicken, and that is always served with rice as well. We do a lot of rice in the house just because our daughter doesn't eat gluten, and so it works so much better to have potatoes, rice than I can do. I can't really do a lot of pasta. I mean, I do have gluten-free pasta, but it gets to be a lot in the kitchen sometimes to do gluten-free than regular, because those that can eat the gluten don't like the gluten-free. So we just do rice and potatoes, and that makes it simple. So that was it. Super simple, easy. This is not going to be my only video for doing some freezer meals, but I just wanted to make it quick and simple because, again, back in the kitchen after taking our vacation and just having some time to relax, recoup, and just kind of be together as a family. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Bye.